Mojo Pelvic Health is a women-owned and operated physical and occupational therapy group who specialize in pelvic floor issues and wellness based out of Memphis, Tennessee, with locations throughout the Memphis region and in Jackson, Mississippi. For too long, pelvic floor issues have been considered a normal part of being pregnant or postpartum, or a normal part of aging. But this group is working to change the stigma around not only normalizing care for issues, but including pelvic health care as a normal part of wellness, and to help prevent issues that can impact how you see yourself and how you live your life. They treat women, men, children, and teens for any and all things that most consider to be TMI. Learn more at mojoph.com or on their Instagram at Mojo Pelvic Health.
This one's for the mothers. You gotta love the mothers. And you gotta hug the ones who bring us joy and love. It's the middle with the moms and it's your day. I said now this one's for the mothers. You gotta love the mothers. And you gotta hug the ones who bring us joy and love. It's the middle with the moms and it's your day.
We're moms, and I just want you to, tell your story, and I would love for you to talk about your mom too, and we could dedicate this to her because she's a pretty special woman.
I shouldn't have put makeup on today. I had a feeling.
I was like, we're probably going to need Kleenexes, but I only have tissue.
I'm just going to use this.
That would fit perfectly with our house because look at all the food all over it.
Girl, you need to come to mine. The other day I was like, there is Scotch tape that I haven't seen in 4 weeks. Just hanging out on my wall.
Oh, nice.
With dog hair and everything else that you can imagine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm just over it. I used to be so OCD about stuff, like bad. And it wasn't terrible with one kid, but man, there just comes a point and they get older and stuff.
I know.
I will drive myself crazy or just get over it. Yeah. And just do what you can. And I'm cleaning 24/7.
I know.
But it still looks like this.
No.
So.
It's like definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah. And then you have 2 dogs, and Wade brought home a puppy, and you can see what he chewed up over there, a card or something.
I think it's a nice installation of art.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it with all of my dogs and my little humans. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we'll just keep doing it. Yeah. Keep creating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on here. I am so excited. Thank you for driving. It was an hour.
Yeah. Easy hour.
Well, you get some time to maybe listen to a podcast or something, and some alone time because you have 2 beautiful children. How's Jackson?
It's good. I hate to say shockingly good.
Good.
Because my family is dad's side is from there.
Okay.
And just growing up, going there to visit family, we didn't really go and do much around Jackson. And of course, now with kids, you have to go and do things.
Yeah.
So you get out of the house more. It is really starting to boom. Blue Oval City coming in. Yeah. So we're having a blast.
Wade's company was considering, they might still be like having a branch out that way. And Wade's like, would you want to move out there? I'm like, I don't know, but it's good to hear. Yeah.
Come on.
I want to move like to the beach or like to the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
no,
if that's
I get
the
that
step to get out of Memphis, that would be great.
I get that. I get that. You can travel to Memphis if you need to, but then also going to Nashville is nice.
Yes.
And there's a lot of like different spots in West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee that are accessible.
Yeah. So, I went to school in Martin, so I always drove through Jackson, but I love what I've seen. I love it because I love, I see like beautiful little houses and just land or giant beautiful houses.
Yeah.
A lot of land.
Legit. I'm like, what do these people do?
I know. I've done a lot of weddings there, and wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yes.
It's a good time.
Well, good. I'm glad. Well, I guess I'll first start off saying, like, I don't even really know how we met. Like, I think we just became mom friends on social media.
We did.
But I've
knew
known
each
who
other.
you are because your sister is, I think she's my age. 2011? 2011 or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
2011.
So we're same age.
Yep.
And, Catholics, I feel like all of us little Italian Catholics know each other.
Memphis Catholics.
Y'all are Italian, right?
It is a mob. We are Czechoslovakian.
Oh, I thought y'all were Italian for some reason.
Probably
The
the
dark
hair.
hair.
Yeah, the dark hair. Czech and like German and just
Okay.
very white.
Very white.
Yeah, we're very white.
But I think that's how we met. And
Yeah.
it's funny because you were like, oh my gosh, our texts, like we hadn't talked in 2 years, and our texts before are us like trying to give each other as much advice as we could, even though we were going through the same thing. But you got to have those mom friends. And it's so funny because like I probably opened up to you about things I wouldn't open up to a friend about.
Yeah. Here, could you look at this picture and make sure that this is normal before I go to the emergency room?
Yes, you were talking about thrush. Oh,
Girl.
my Lord.
Girl.
That was rough.
His chest is October of 19.
Yeah.
October 10th.
Yes.
I remember them because Margaret was due that day.
Yes.
And then she was born on the 16th. So
Yes.
I knew. And I remember
That's
you
so
driving to my
funny.
house with the willow pump.
Yes,
You remember
I
that? It was like pouring down rain.
And
for
you were like,
anything. I just need to breastfeed.
I know.
Yes.
And you gave me like lasagna, and that was amazing. See, switch
I will
off,
always
mom
cook for
friends.
you. So maybe I am Italian. I don't know. Probably don't.
Well, I ate the whole thing, so it was delicious.
Good.
But yeah, so that's how we became friends. And you have been through a lot. And I think you inspire a lot of people. I think that people, like, you're someone that you can just really look up to. You stand strong and, you know, what you believe in. And you're just a really good mom and a great friend. And hopefully we can be better about keeping in touch and hanging out. I'll have to come to Jackson, have a play date.
Absolutely.
But I'd love for you to just kind of get into your story of being a mom.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. And right before we started recording, talking about just crying, I'm probably going to just start crying now because that was a very, very sweet intro.
Oh.
But yeah, so where to begin? So 2019 was a beautiful but hard year.
Mm-hmm.
We had been trying since really 2018, probably summer of 2018, to have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was February, which makes sense.
Yeah.
We got pregnant
Yes.
pretty quickly after I just said, let go and let God.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were scheduled in March to go to OBGYN to really start fertility talk, that sort of thing. And I just threw my hands in the air. I was like, let you do it.
Yeah.
Whenever you think.
Yeah.
It is your will. Got pregnant, got super excited. And within a matter of, I think it's actually this upcoming week, will be mom's diagnosis anniversary. So a month later, we find out that my mom has cholangiocarcinoma, which is, of course, a very rare bile duct cancer. So like in your liver, bile duct. Seemingly healthy, you know? The woman could outrun a mob.
I was going to say very healthy.
Yeah, very
fit.
yes. The guns on her. My wedding photo. I'm like, were you flexing? And I remember her just being like, I'm just standing. She's from Minnesota. She's like, I'm just standing there, Anna. I was like, damn it. Why can't I've been an athlete my whole life. Why can't I have arms like you? Golfer, St. Jude. I mean, that woman was always at St. Jude.
Yeah.
Volunteering, doing everything. And so it was a huge shock to the system.
Yeah.
The family system, just the world in general, felt like it was shaking uncontrollably.
Yeah.
So you are essentially met with beginning of life and potential end of life. And that was very jarring.
I know that exactly because the same thing happened with my mom.
And that's, I think we started connecting over that.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I didn't even say that. You're right.
Yes. We're like, how do we navigate this?
Yeah.
So that's February, March of 2019. And then fast forward to October when our girls were born.
Yes.
And thankfully it was pre-COVID because they could be there. I had hired a doula, love her. But I think it was out of fear that my mom wasn't going to be there.
Oh.
So I do have regret of not having her in the room with me.
Yeah.
I think the birth story there would have been a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see my mom. I think it was for maybe 2 weeks prior to an induction.
Oh.
I was induced with both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she had to put radioactive beads.
That's right. I forgot about
in her liver.
Okay.
So I couldn't be around her, obviously.
Wow, that is crazy.
It was, I just remember sitting in the Bella Vita parking lot with her right before she got the beads put in. And she just kept telling me it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, okay. You better freaking be here when that baby's born.
Yeah.
Or else I'm going to have a bone to pick with somebody upstairs.
Yes.
Mama needs her mama.
Yes.
So Margaret's born. Mom was doing great. I mean, really through her whole journey, I would say October to mid-December was like her best.
Okay.
Her hair was growing back. She had energy. We would go on coffee dates with Margaret, and it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then she was starting to get headaches. And then January, end of December, early January, she wouldn't respond to you. So she went to the ER and had, God, was it over 12 or 20? I don't know. I was 3 months postpartum, brain mets. And went through extensive brain radiation. She had, her hair was growing back, but then they had to shave. And then the way that they actually treated her was almost like if you were to get like laser hair treatment.
Yeah.
And so they shaved her, and then it was almost like this maze all over her head.
Wow.
The brain inflammation, I don't know how they were able to get it down so quickly, but she started to get a little bit better, this, that, or the other. So that was February of 2020, and then world shut down.
Yeah.
And then it started to get really, really bad that summer. And the hardest part was it was 2020.
Yeah.
And so going to the grocery store, something that I love about myself, but I'm also like, Ann, I really wish you could just get on board with some things, was I refused the mask mandate. And I would wear like a linen, I mean, really, really thin. I mean, it might as well have been like a thong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Into Sprouts, anything else. Didn't care if people were looking at me.
I was the exact same way.
Yes. I'm like, this does not make sense.
It wasn't proven effective, and guess what? It's proven that it isn't effective now, and people are still wearing them. But okay.
I know. Little tangent. I love when the mask comes down below the nose. I'm like, you do you, boo.
I'd be at weddings, and they'd be like, you have to put this on. I'd be like, okay, I just put it on my ears, and I'm like, I got to be able to breathe, especially like postpartum, and then we both got pregnant again. But anyway, could go on and on. But
So it was a really, really tough summer. And then August 22nd of that year, she passed away. But I'll tell you this, looking back, because one, it's inevitable. We're all going to lose our loved ones.
Yeah.
It's really shitty that
Can I cuss?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Beep.
Sorry.
No.
Gonna have to scrub that one. But there is a weird, I can now say there is a blessing in going through that, even at a young age, because you're able to say, okay, I am literally creating life while mom is potentially dying, which she was. And I'm watching this life grow up to be this incredible human being, all while my favorite human being is dying.
Yeah. Wow.
I should have taken psilocybin during the whole thing just to like experience another level. But there was this moment in that in between, I don't know if you ever experienced it during birth, of like the veil, and it's almost like this portal between here and heaven.
Yeah.
And I felt that being around my mom in those dying days with Margaret.
Oh yeah. I've felt it many times actually.
Yeah. And it's like, it gives you this warmth that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Even though you feel like you are free falling.
Yeah.
From the depths of hell.
Yeah.
So that was August of 2020. I mean, not even a week after that, Daniel had a interview with FedEx again. And then we found out, I guess it was that fall, we were moving to North Carolina.
Yes.
And then right before, it's funny, not funny, right before, so 6 months after mom died, we got pregnant with Sam. Yeah. And it was like a week or two before we moved.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a lot of different life things.
It was. I mean, and I look back now and I just think, what a blessing all of it was. It's very hard to say it because I think even for me who feels this way, it's hard to just grasp that I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
But I know it can be hard for other people hearing me say this, that mom's diagnosis and passing was a weird blessing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have the same just realization of life and how precious it is. And I wouldn't have made the decisions that I've made really in the past year, quit my job, homeschooling, like all these different things to say, this is what matters. like us joking about the cleaning, that doesn't matter.
Yes.
I mean, just the time spent together within your family unit is what matters.
Yes. And I have struggled so much with that because like I feel that so strongly, and I'm still like suffering from postpartum anxiety. Like it just never like the only time it went away was when I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just got to keep getting pregnant.
Right.
But it's so weird.
I know.
But
I know.
I completely agree with you. Like I just will look at my kids and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they look completely, like they're completely different. So I just try to take in every single thing. And there are so many stressors in life, and a lot can happen, and it's okay to have those moments and just, you know, maybe need some alone time or something. But like I told you earlier, I'm in a huge journey with my faith right now, and I'm, you know, we're Catholic, and I've never, you know, not believed in God or believed in Jesus. And I've never been like angry with him or like, why would you do this? But I might've been like, you know, help me out here. Or sometimes I'm like,
a bone.
Or sometimes I'm like, you know, like I can get through this. Don't worry about me. Other people have bigger problems, but I'm on the journey now trying to remind myself, like, it's okay. Give it to God and just enjoy this, because like the experience you went through with your mom and having your daughter, life is so fragile and super short, and not to be dark, but it really is. And you really do got to enjoy every moment, because like God didn't bring us here to just have an incredibly perfect, you know, straight path. It is like our souls are growing constantly. And so one day when we're in heaven, like we're going to know that. And hopefully, like I want to be proud of the life I lived.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to go through the hard stuff to appreciate the good stuff.
Yeah.
And even like in athletics, you know, when you're training for something, you're like, this son of a bitch is making me run ladders or whatever it is. But then you appreciate that because that made you faster in the game, which then made you win the championship, whatever it might be. Yeah. Love sports and sports analogies. Yes. But that is such a good parallel with life, and with going through those things helps you just in the long run.
And it's so funny, or it's not funny, but it's interesting because I think we talked about you coming on here, I guess, when I first started. Yeah. So a long time ago, I guess a year and a half ago, 2 years, I don't know. Yes. And this is probably a totally different conversation that you're having with me now than you would have then.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about different headspace. I mean, when we moved, there was this relief of we get a fresh start and get to really start our own like family in a way that doesn't have any kind of ties or trauma, but that does follow you. Right. You know, I mean,
of course.
Yeah. And I think that was that realization once we moved, and we moved to an incredible community. I mean, it was something out of a Hallmark movie.
Was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. And it truly was a God moment. Yeah. We bought that house sight unseen.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, God, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm having another baby. Here we go.
Bye, everybody I know.
See ya. Thanks for everything. Yeah. It was a leap of faith. And I'm so glad that we did it. We were there for, almost 3 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And just even having Sam, to your point, like the headspace I was in it was hard. I don't know how your transition was from 1 to 2, but that was the hardest for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
I don't know why, but I don't know if it was the juggling of that age gap, and, you know, you would think a nap would be easier.
It was my hardest too, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess everyone says different, but what I hear mostly people say is having your first child is actually the hardest because you have no idea what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. Yep. I also do think everything's situational as well, because like we had other things going on in our lives. Like I like do not think I handled my mom's cancer stuff very well. Yeah. Like I've definitely gotten better from it because of what we went through. Like with anyone going through anything, like my whole life, I'm very emotional. And when someone I'm close to goes through something bad, or I'm losing someone, I'm like, cut off. It's not happening. And I'm like if a grandparent was sick or dying, like I feel like I like backed off from them. And that is so terrible. And that was like me, I guess, protecting myself. But like I do not want to be that way. So when it was happening with my mom, she kind of like didn't want to make a big deal about it. Right. And and she's told me this because I've apologized to her. Like, I'm sorry that I can't remember things. Like I can't remember dates and stuff because she was like, I didn't want to take away, you know, you becoming a new mom or whatever. But with back to having the second, I had such crazy postpartum depression, anxiety after Chessa, and then bringing Raylan in, my hormones were nuts. I was like a crazy like tiger mom, and like you just wanted Raylan in my arms, and he was a pretty difficult baby, very sweet, but had some, difficulties. Just a lot of crying and a lot of overstimulation, me being overwhelmed. And I also had this insane guilt that I'm not spending every second with Chessa, who was literally all, everything to me. I didn't think I could love someone like I loved Chessa, and then Raylan came, and then you realize, you love them just as much. It was so overwhelming for me, like big time. And the third, I'm telling you, a breeze.
Keep telling me that.
Seriously.
Keep telling me that, because I want one more. I'm like, third time.
You like just have to, because like it's already chaos. They just add in more fun. I'm telling you, like, I don't know. It was like, I want to have more though, but Wade got a vasectomy. So
I know. Well, that's my thing. I'm like, all right, we got to have a third. And then I know in my heart, I'm like, what's one more?
Yeah, exactly.
And what's maybe one more? And
Only
then all of a sudden my
money.
hair is like, girl. Yes.
Money. And like, I like have this way I want to live, and
yes.
And the clothes I want to buy for my kids, like I want them to have the cutest outfits, but
I know.
You got to step back on that, and all the vitamins, supplement, just
I know.
everything. They're expensive.
They are
and
expensive.
if you want to give them, the best life you possibly can, it costs money. So that is one thing. So
it does.
If you're a millionaire, have a million kids.
I know. Do it to it, Lars. I know. I'm like, Margaret, you're going to have to go to work. We're going to need to put you to work so we can have your vitamin supplements and everything going good. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah, I know.
You were talking about it was harder for you to have the second than you having the first one.
Yeah. And I think it was partially because we didn't have the familial support there.
Yes. Yeah.
We definitely had support there, but I was also just like, oh my gosh, I'm also in another vulnerable spot after having Margaret and everything with my mom, and then moving. And he was also a very difficult baby. I don't know if it's like a boy thing, second child thing.
I don't know.
But the boy tests our patience like none other, but in, I think, truly the best way, because it has made me a way more patient mom. And it has taken my rage to a much more manageable level.
That is something that I have embarrassingly struggled with. Like just this, will get, it's anxiety, and I'm so sick of saying that damn word, but I just will get overwhelmed and overstimulated. And when all three of them need me at once, or they're all screaming at me at the same time, it's like, rah! But like Wade and I have had to have heart-to-hearts a lot. Like you got to continuously have them, or you might just go right back. But I'm like, we got to be patient. They're just kids.
I know.
They've only been here for a short amount of time.
Yes.
But it is also hard to decide how to parent them. Being a parent is, gosh, it's so hard. There's all this stuff about gentle parenting, and then I'm all for being nice to your kid, but the gentle parenting stuff I see is bonkers to me.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not like, beat your kids.
Yeah, no.
But
100%.
you're going to respect me, and you're going to respect all adults. And it's going to take kids to a few times, like quite a few times, months, years to get that in their head. But they're going to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like, you know what I mean? That's where Wade and I stand.
Yes.
But I don't know how I got into that.
No, girl, we can go on so many different tangents.
Lord.
No, I tell my kids when they are being mean, it's okay to be mad. It's not okay to be mean.
Right.
And you have to be respectful.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir. Because to have respect, to receive it, you have to show respect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's golden rule stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so it's so simple that we make it difficult in a way. And I'm with you. You want to validate feelings because you want to say, look, I know you're pissed.
Yes.
I know you really wanted, I don't know, a sucker or whatever it was, but we don't do that at this time of day.
Right.
We aren't going to let you take over how we run our household.
Right.
We are a team, but you got to step in line.
Yeah. Mommy and daddy are the bosses.
Yeah.
And that's where it's hard, because every single kid is different. Not every single way is going to work with kids. Like Chessa, if she's throwing a fit, she can soothe herself pretty much immediately, and I can talk to her. It's pretty much in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
But I can talk to her, Raylan, he really struggles with self-soothing because he's just so stubborn, and he's like, I'm going to scream. And so what I've learned that works with him is holding him and hugging him tight. I've heard about like putting pressure on their chest. Yep. And so like, at first Wade would try to have discussions with him during this, and he's like, he's not listening to me. And then I'm like, he's not going to listen to you right now. Right. It's not going to do anything. So we just have to comfort him. We just can't let him hurt anybody or hurt himself. Right. And so that's kind of where we're going with parenting right now. It's just so hard because you just want to do the best you can, but there's kind of too much information out there, and it's hard because there's every single kid is different. Every single kid. And every parent is different because we've all gone through our own stuff. But I got to say that I'm going off way far, but like good. Parenting is like being a good parent is the number one thing in the world because we're literally turning these little kids into adults, the future of our world, of our country. And if I love all the advice, I love the good advice, but I don't like the people who are like, don't yell at your kid, or don't like the like judgment on things when you're like, I can handle this myself with my kid. Or if your kid's like having a tantrum at Costco, like the looks and the judging or whatever, I can't stand that stuff, but you can't let it get to you. You just have to stand strong in your convictions and what you believe, and you're trying to be the best parent you can. You're not going to be perfect. And
amen. Girlfriend, I am having to do heavier lifts in the gym because of the football carries with Sam. I love him so much, but I'm like, I shouldn't really have to lift a 70-pound dumbbell just to get your ass
I know.
out of
my arms, like people be like, wow, your arms look really ripped. What are you doing? I'm like, these kids, man. I'm telling you, it's picking them up. Ripping them off each
Mother's strength. I know. Well, and yes, to your point, it's a matter of not worrying about what other people think. I think that is something that circulates the anxiety in our world. And certainly for our generation, I mean, we were at the beginning of MySpace, then the Facebook, and all of this, like, do I look good enough to others and not myself? And then that rolls over into parenting and then anything else we do. Yeah. It's like keeping up with the Joneses and all of that stupid stuff. But to your point of the Costco, football carry, don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm not punching I'm not doing anything that's like, all right, CPS, come on in. But it's like, we're calming them down. We're validating, and we're doing a lot of critical thinking, teaching. That is a big theme for me in our parenting right now. Is aside from this is our house rule, no matter what it is. Right. When we're out in the world and they ask, why is that color? A tree. Yeah. I put it back on them. Why do you think it's green? Because you want them to be able to approach the world with conviction of this is who I am. Right. And I'm comfortable in my own skin and what I believe in, and to be respectful of other people's opinions, thoughts, whatever. But then also thinking critically and just asking questions. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Because people don't ask, or they haven't felt like they could ask questions. Yeah. And so even at a young age, just instilling that in them. I love that. That's a great way, because sometimes I'm just answering and coming up with bullshit answers because I don't know. Same. Mama's tired. It's just that's what it is. Like, I don't know any other. Yes, a unicorn is real. At this point, you just kind of literally asked me that a couple of days ago. So why are unicorns like not alive? Yeah. I'm like, oh crap. I don't know what to say here. And then it dives into some other things, and you're just like, okay, you're thinking critically. Yeah. Be proud of her for there you go. There you go. Yes. Asking questions. Oh my goodness. So important. I want to go back to where we're sorry. That was probably on me. But I could go any which way. Yes. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about. You'll have to come back. I will. Do some more episodes with me. But you went through so much with just hormones and life changes. I mean, having a baby and your daughter and your mom going through this, who's your best friend. How did you push yourself to get through? Because postpartum depression, from what I remember, was a thing with you. And definitely me too. Yes. And some people I have some friends who are going through it, and I can give them the advice Yeah.
you know, now. But if I think about it, I'm like, if someone told me that, like, it kind of sounds like common sense. But when I was in that, I could not, like, it wouldn't have helped me.
Right.
So what advice would you give a mom who is just has a lot on her right now and that she's trying to push through and not just to give up on herself?
Right. Yeah. Just my example, I'll never forget Sam. It was before his first birthday. Don't tell me what month because it was all a blur.
Yeah.
But it was middle of the night and he's never been a great sleeper compared to Margaret. And I remember walking into his room for like the 5th time that night. And, you know, the exhaustion. It's
my night every night still. So
well,
I know.
Yeah, we're back into that flow with him. And I'm like, oh, okay, we can do this. We can do this. So 1, we can do this. 2, I remember walking in there and grabbing him, not shaking, but I was like, go to sleep. And I put him in his crib. I got in my car and I drove to our church.
Okay.
And I sat in the parking lot and I cried and I prayed.
I love that.
It's not my advice. I mean, but turn to God. Always, always, always turn to God. And give yourself grace and say, look, this is where I'm really struggling. Write it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes just writing it out or speaking to someone to say, I am angry. I am sad. I am scared. Yeah. It goes back to that parenting of saying, like, let's label these emotions and talk through why you're feeling that way. And then it's a matter of then saying, are we going to get better or are we going to get better?
Right.
And so for me, it was more of a trial and error of learning that after, especially Sam and then my mom passing, there was a lot of woe is me moments. And it's okay to just sit in the shit for a minute. Yeah. And say, this sucks and is also the greatest thing ever. Yeah. It can be this, it's just like Inside Out, you know, that blending of emotion all at the same time. Lean on others. And if you're afraid to voice those things, which can be true. Yeah. Because definitely. You can have what I call deepy darkies.
I still get those.
I still get them too. And I think, know that those are also, they can be normal. For instance, going to Target or Costco or whatever with your kids and you're like, who's trying to capture us?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think
we live in a
world though. I mean, truly,
you're right.
Like there's that difference of, not difference, but that can be normal as a mom. Right. Because I think that is truly within our nature to protect and same for dads. Your ears are tingling a little bit more. But when you're in that postpartum period, and especially that sleep deprivation and your nutrients are depleted. I mean, love babies, but they are parasitic. Yeah. You know, they truly suck the life out of you in the best way. I think it's a couple of avenues of going about it. Of if you don't feel comfortable talking to someone about it, write it down, journal it, get outside. Yes. Getting outside, even if it's cold, I want you to wrap yourself in all of your blankets, you know, and like Randy in Christmas Story, I want you waddling around. Yeah. Eat nourishing foods. Yes. That through this whole, I guess, journey of even preconception with Margaret to today, after everything, of the importance of this healing as a whole is so important. Yeah. And knowing you need to feed yourself first. Yeah. Spiritually, physically, mentally, in order to take care of others. Absolutely. And I really think I just started to have that click for me in the past year. Yeah. Like I wake up at 5, sometimes 4:45, and it's 15 minutes, but it's before 5. Yeah. And I go to the gym. I love that. And the only way, because my depression, anxiety comes out through rage. Yeah. It's just in my DNA. Yeah. Girlfriend gets mad. Me too. And I hate it because I'm like, I'm so chill. I know. I kind of wish I was a weeper. Yeah. I am a weeper. But I can like cry, like, you know, with, if we're saying a sad story, I can have tears, but I'm the same way. It's like, I hate it. I hate it. And I think it is just an outward way of your body and your mind telling you your needs aren't met. And yes, overstimulation, kids, like, to your point, they've only been on this earth, ours like 5 and 3. Yeah. one too. And it's like, okay, how can I fill my cup before others? And for moms especially, that is very hard to break through that barrier.
Yeah.
But if you are journaling, write down just ideas.
Yeah.
ADHD Mind Anna is like, just write down things that might help.
Yeah.
Or if you're talking to someone, help me figure out things that might help me get that out.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the gym.
I love that because, and we are really similar. It's so funny. I mean, we were athletes our entire lives, and I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't have this rage in me.
Yeah.
Like I might have like freaking like knocked someone out in a soccer game or hip checked them, but like I just never thought that I had ever felt this way until now. And I was not taking care of myself at all. I was being completely depleted of my nutrients. I wasn't drinking water because I just felt like I was doing everything for 1, 2, 3 humans. And, you know, there's situational things too, like, you know, having an incredible partner who can see that and, you know, help, you know, pick up things, I don't know, just help you with that situation. Or, you know, you could have something else going on in your life, like your mom, anything. Yeah. And man, I just was not taking care of myself at all because I don't know, I felt like I didn't have the time, and I was so just anxiety and so angry. It was like there was this blockage of me and I just couldn't get past it. And I still prayed, but I like wasn't like, I don't know. It was weird. I didn't want to like give God my problems because I think I was embarrassed or something. Yeah. And I mean, this is new, me getting out of this. Like I'm on my health journey. Like this is a new thing. Like you said, the past year, like my youngest is going to be 2 in May. Yeah. And I'm still breastfeeding him. So that's another thing that's just like, I'm like, my boobs are on the ground. I'm dying. I'm like, so I hate to say it, but I'm over it. Like I needed to stop. I know. But it just, the rage thing. One night, it's so weird you said this, but one day I was so just dead. And then Wade like came home from work and I was like, I have to get out of here. Like I have to get out of here because I'm like screaming. And I do not want my kids to see that. So he's like, what? And I'm like, here's a baby. They're upstairs. I got in my car. I wouldn't recommend getting in your car if you're really mad. No, don't get a wreck.
No, I get that.
But it was late. And I got in my car and I just circled and was just in silence, the windows down. I normally would have called my mom, but I was embarrassed to tell her how I was feeling. Yeah. And so that's just what I did. Yeah. And I don't remember if I don't remember what I did, but I came back and I was like, okay, so remove yourself from the situation if you can. Yep. Take a deep breath, like be outside. Like I was saying to my other episode the other day, like we have got to go back to what God gave us. Yes. We are meant to be outside 80% of the day. I think that's the right percentage. I probably should Google that. Okay. But ground yourself. Like grounding is huge. When you're like, take your shoes off, put your feet in the dirt, in the grass. That does something to your body, like your cells. Yeah. I need to like look up this information so I could say it perfectly. Yeah. But it does. And so when my kids get home from school, our shoes are off, we're outside. I don't care what it feels like outside. Even if it's raining, we'll go outside. Obviously I'm not going to, torture them out there. Oh yeah. But no, I get it. I want them to be outside. I want them to dig a hole. We do still watch movies and stuff, but so getting back to what God gave us, nature. So going outside, taking that deep breath. Another thing that's great is if it's sunny, if you're feeling overwhelmed, like turn your face towards the sun. Don't stare at the sun. Right. But that vitamin D, that sunlight, just breathing and looking up at the sky is something that helps me because it reminds me of how silly and little this problem is that I have. Yes. Or maybe not silly, but just how small it is, and I can get through this because look at this earth, like really. Right. Right. And so that's another thing. But yeah, I struggled so bad with it, and I did get to a point like the DP dark, or I don't know, DP darkies. Woo! I have it really, really bad. Yeah. And I have a very overprotective father, possibly very anxiety ridden. He's the chillest person ever, down for anything, but lock your doors. Or did you lock your doors? I mean, he's checking in with me every day still. I'm 32 years old. I love it though, but I'm like that now. And with everything that's going on in the world, and we have so much more information than our parents had. Our grandparents, when they were our age, like life is completely different. That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So we're all figuring this out.
Right.
But we have we see things and we see bad things and dark things. And so anxiety is, like, I don't want to say normal, but common. Those thoughts can get too far. And I have definitely at one point hit a rock bottom where I wouldn't say I would have actually done something to myself, but I'm like driving, I'm like, I could just crash in this building and die. Like I literally have thought crazy things. And when I got to that way, it's so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing to me. It's not embarrassing, but it was to me at the time. But I woke up and I was like, what am I doing? Look at these children. They deserve a healthy, happy mom. Like, I want to live life and enjoy it. I've got to get back to this. Like, what can I do? I opened up to my mom. I told her how I felt, and she was like, okay, what can I do? And so like how blessed I am to tell her that, and her to be like, all right, what will help you? And my thing at the time was, I'm still working a full-time job with all these kids. And when am I supposed to edit all these weddings that I'm doing? Because I come home and I have to take care of 3 kids, and then it's bedtime. When do I sleep? Like, I wish I didn't have to sleep, because then I could finish everything. I know. But like, we have to. I actually have gone like almost 2 weeks without sleep, like maybe a couple hours sleep. I was losing my mind. It was really bad. Like I thought I had a brain tumor, because I was literally like, ugh.
I've been, that was a phase for me. Went to the ER and I was like, I'm numb.
Yes.
I'm like spinning.
Yes.
Something is happening.
Actually, you and I were talking to each other like during this kind of stuff, because I remember you saying that you and I were both like, there is something in our bodies.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
But so asking for help is huge. And some people may not have that, but we've got to figure out how to connect and have friends and have good friends or good family that will help you.
Right.
But you said working out. That is what I have to be sane, because I played soccer and other sports, but mainly soccer my whole life. And so I'm constantly running sprints, sweating all the bad stuff out. If I have any anger or anxiety, it's coming out of me and I don't even realize it. And now, like, not working out at all and having all that in and having no outlet to let it out, that it makes so much sense to me. And so I really try to be active every day. If I'm not going to do a serious workout, then I'm going to chase them out there till I'm out of breath. And acting like a little kid and being on their level, that's going to make you live a longer, healthier life. It is. Mentally and physically.
It is. That is something for me in my motherhood journey that I'm trying to get better at. Daniel, my husband, is the greatest. And he is always on the floor with them and always just like playing. Yes. He can play with the best of them. I love it. I know. And I'm over here, and I was before, and even like during motherhood with Margaret and Sam, I was a project manager at an ad firm. And I loved my job so, so much, but it's very hard for me to turn that type A off and just play. And even the intensity of my workouts is very intense, I would say, compared to maybe other kind of workouts. And I know deep in my heart, I need to have that more of grounding, more play for my nervous system to truly like feel safe. Right. Like still dealing with things, not necessarily like postpartum depression and that sort of thing, but it's like just to heal from everything that I'd been through. I'm like, I need to just have more of a feminine approach in my healing rather than lifting a barbell, Yeah. But there is something to that. I mean, Amy Moses, our beautiful Amy Moses. Amy, if you're listening, I love you.
An angel from heaven.
An angel from heaven. Bless that woman. But truly just she taught me about the energy, and then especially in women's bodies, like there's something so spiritual with that. And to be able to get that energy out to just express yourself, whether it be through words, writing or talking to someone, or through just motion. For me, in even just therapy. Yeah. We did a lot of physical, yin yoga is another way to just kind of sit with your shit. Yeah. And a lot of that healing has come from that physical movement for me. Absolutely. So I think, if I were to go back and say, all right, if you're freshly postpartum, especially with first and you don't know what to do. And second, if it's like our experience, it's like, whoo, we're buckled up here. I think it's the letting it out to someone or write it down to then kind of action plan it. Because you know how your head's spinning and move outside. Like just let's go back to basics. Yeah. Just like what we were talking about.
100%.
So,
and
that's what I would say.
Amy Moses is our pelvic floor therapist. And I recommend every single person go baby or no baby. Like it's because we can, and she really, like you said, she opened my eyes to a lot of spiritual things. And I guess you'd say religious because I'm Catholic, but I'm very spiritual as well. And she opened my eyes to that instead of thinking that's kind of crazy. I've never been one to think that kind of stuff's crazy because I've had some crazy experiences in my life, but I know other people really do. And my husband, like, definitely would be someone like, huh? You know, like, are you, what? Yeah. And I love how he's evolved because he's open to me talking about it. And it's just so funny because I'll hear him talking to someone at work about something. I'm like, oh, yay, you're opening your eye. Like, your third eye is opening. But energy, like for us women, we carry energy like in our uterus, right? Yeah. And I don't know if this is the best way to say it. I would love for her to come on one day. But she talks about we carry past generational trauma and things. You know, with pelvic floor therapy, she's strengthening you down there. And, you know, when I first went into that appointment, I had no idea what it entailed. And when she was like, all right, well, I'm going to do this, I was like, you're going to do what? But wow, she said, your pelvic floor is just tight as you could ever imagine it. Your muscles are turned on constantly, like you're holding a barbell constantly. It needs to relax. And that's how I felt, just constant anxiety, constant like protection. And she helped me strengthen it by making it relax and letting that negative energy go, telling my body, okay, my baby is safe and he's out of my body. Like, it's pretty amazing.
It is. I started seeing her before we got pregnant with Margaret, and I will never.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, girl. I will never forget because it was, I want you to correct me, Amy, on this, but I think it was like the left is old relationships and the right is more familial relationships. Okay. And when she was working on the left side, I just started bawling, crying, and thinking about a horrible relationship that I had. And it was like this release because I was like this too. And going through pelvic floor PT helped me get pregnant because I was letting go. Yes. Essentially, my muscles were holding on to my ovaries. Right. And
it's so important.
That is, Mojo Pelvic Health is probably the greatest thing that has ever happened.
It is for men too.
For men too. Yeah.
I'm guess I shouldn't say who it is because there's not much story to tell, but there is a man in my life who I have like somehow convinced to go to pelvic floor therapy because, you know, they don't have, a hoo-ha down there. But it changed his life. And so I'm like, it's for everybody. And even if you just have back pain, they can tell you what's going on. I mean, it's like my hips after birth were inside and uneven. Yeah. And I knew I felt weird all the time. And I would sometimes have this pain where I would be stuck and I couldn't move. Yeah. And I didn't even have to go to a chiropractor. I didn't need to go get an x-ray. All I had to do was go to pelvic floor therapy and work it out, and her helped me move my hips around, and I was good. I mean, it's just incredible.
I know. It is healing in the greatest sense.
Yeah. It really is. And that happened to me too, where we were talking, she was telling me about how, we might hold what our mothers, were holding. And which kind of makes me sad. That's why I'm also like, I want to be the best mom for Chess. I don't want her holding any of this shit.
I know.
And so, I had a session where I let go of something that was something that I think my mom was holding, not me, but I thought about it and I felt bad for my mom. Yeah. And so I was holding it and I let it go because it's not serving us good.
I know.
So some people probably have no idea what we're talking about.
We told y'all. We go there.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. It's the eggs for generational, literally.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
So what is that with the eggs? There's like...
Yeah, it's like, it's like a Russian nesting doll, essentially. Like, I'm going to butcher this. My grandmother, it's like she had me and her something before even my mom or something like that.
Something.
But it is to that extent. Like you're born with a certain amount of eggs
Right.
and then they're kind of transferred and all of that.
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
Well,
yeah.
Next time you come on, we're going to make sure we look that up.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have like a couple of screens.
Have our, yeah.
We're going to go gaming console.
We're going to have
here.
a whole team over here.
Yes. Fact check. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Well, I love that. I forgot how we connected on pelvic floor therapy too. Like, I feel like my life, I like have forgotten so many things because I'm just like, all right, moving forward.
Truly.
And it's like I blacked out. I'm like, oh yeah. I went through all that.
Like, because every day is Groundhog Day, but you're also planning for the Groundhog Day. And then you forget about past Groundhog Days and then everything that came from it. I know.
It's nuts.
It is nuts.
Well, I want to tell you, so, with this podcast, I've kind of already told you before we clicked record. It's so funny. Every time someone comes over here, we start talking. I'm like, wait,
I know.
Let's just
zip your lip.
Yeah, let's just get on here.
Recording.
But, I started this because of my postpartum stuff and I felt like so alone, but I had people like you to talk to about it. But no one else, it wasn't a thing. And now it's definitely becoming more, Instagram, people are posting about it. Yeah. But I think actually talking about it with people is huge. So, and listening to podcasts, I love listening to podcasts, like independent journalists, like this is our news. Like the freaking news outlets, like you can't believe anything. Listening to these journalists who are actually getting the actual facts and stuff. And like, that's where you learn your news. That's your information.
Yes.
And so I love social media in that way. My goal for this was, for moms to come on and even professionals. You might not be a mom. Someone can talk about their mom, but to tell your story, because everybody has a story. Yeah. Everyone, not everyone, but people want it to be heard. And if you can make just a difference in one person's life, it's worth it for the positive, it's worth it. True. I really wanted to start season 2, quote unquote, with my listeners, like going on this new journey of health with me. Yeah. And one of the scariest, most vulnerable things you can talk about besides, I feel like, your relationship with God, like that's a huge one. And I love that we've talked about it. I've just now started really talking about it with people. Yeah, and Wade and I have, like, we always knew we believe in God, we believe in Jesus, we're going to go to church, motions. But we've really never gotten really deep with it. And we watched The Passion of the Christ together a month ago or so, and wow, worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know. Yeah.
Like, wow. And so we're just so open to it, and wow, our marriage is like completely different because we're talking about it. So I love that we're talking about it. But the other thing I would say, I'm not going to compare it and put it on that level of God. But what's going on and trending right now, like the MAHA movement, vaccines, like health, what we're putting in our bodies from what we eat, and vaccines, all this stuff. It's overwhelming. And man, like in the beginning of it, of even just food, I didn't want to hear it because it's scary, and it was just like too much information. And when I got too much information, I would just black out, and then I couldn't retain it or remember it. And so, like you said, I just went through the motions with it. But now I'm like, okay, like something's going on here. Like we're in an autoimmune disease crisis. It's really bad. Cancer rates are going up. Stillborn rates are going up. I mean, I could say a million different things are going up. Autism rates are going up. Right. And what's going on? So moms like us are literally coming together, and they're leading this. Like, I know, like, Bobby Kennedy, is like, I guess, the face of MAHA, but I think us moms are, because I'm still holding him accountable to do this shit. So I'm not going to be, I love him. And if he says something weird, I'm not going to be like, I still love him. I'll be like, no, motherfucker. Like,
you said.
Yeah, you said you're going to change this.
Yeah.
So this is the journey I'm on. And I already told you I have anxiety. So it gets really overwhelming sometimes. But I'm just going to take a deep breath, say a prayer, and start one thing at a time. So at first I've gone through a lot, or Raylan has gone through a lot with his eczema. And other different things, but really the eczema was hell. Like, he was scratching himself. He was bleeding at 9, and I'm just looking at him in the camera, like crying because I feel hopeless. I'm trying everything. And so I'm like, okay, let's start one thing at a time. Let's find the right body wash. Let's find this, blah, blah, blah. And I finally have found some things, like I have a bath filter because our water is shit. Like I live in Memphis, and we have the best water or whatever, but there is so much shit in there that doesn't need to be in there. Actually, Utah just passed a bill, no more fluoride in their water starting. That's awesome. So hopefully we can do that. Yep. But okay, bath filter, get healthy body wash, blah, blah, blah. But one thing that I'm really doing with him is every bath I do a detox bath with him, like baking soda and Epsom salt. And I'm sure there's more things I can do too. But
no, that's perfect.
I'm doing that with all of them. Yeah. But Raylan's the one who, poor guy, struggle with it. I'm washing our clothes in the best stuff. Yeah. Opening our windows. Like, you just got to start with one thing at a time. But I'm also detoxing him. Mm-hmm. And it's a zeolite mineral spray. Yep. I'm sure you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. And, we get heavy metals from food. Oh my God. Our kids get it from the vaccines. Yep. And there's many ways you can detox it, and working out, sweating that shit out is a great one. Yep. Eating whole foods like fruits and vegetables is helping detox that out. Yep. But we're not getting the best nutrients. Our kids aren't getting the best nutrients in school. They're not always out playing. They're inside. So I know you know all about this, and I want you to talk about your homeschooling because I just love that. But they're, so I'm giving him a little extra help. I'm trying to do all those things, put everything, like, I don't want to be psycho. I don't want to kill myself and be like, oh, he ate a chocolate cookie at school today. Right. Like, so I'm trying to relax about that. Yes. But while I'm here at home, I'm going to be pretty serious about what goes into his body. But anyway, the zeolite mineral spray, these heavy metals are stored all in our body, and they're in water. Mm-hmm. Well, having all these heavy metals in our children's little innocent, new brains is absolutely terrible for them. And it's like setting them up for failure because they're having behavioral issues or for Raylan eczema issues. It's terrible. And so this zeolite mineral goes to these heavy metals and helps grab them and flush them out. Mm-hmm. And another thing it does is I have like these drops, and I'm thankful for this girl named Brandy. I don't know if you know who she is on Instagram. The Healing and Homesteading Mama. Mm-hmm. She's incredible. You would love her. You need to follow her. She's the one who sent me this, and I bought it from her. Yeah. But it helps get parasites out because parasites hide themselves in heavy metals. So instead of your body just getting it out like it normally would, they're just staying in there.
They're hiding.
They're hiding. So I got to say, I'm just so excited to see what happens with all three of my kids. I'm doing it with all three of them. Yeah. And it was so funny. I told her the other day, I was like, I'm looking for parasites in their poop. And she was like, Camilla, you have to dig in their poop to find them. I was like, oh, I'm like, after y'all poop, don't flush because I'm going to look at
Get that shovel, baby.
But it's just so much, and it can be overwhelming, but we can do this. We have to set up we just have to sacrifice the fact that it's overwhelming and scary to see the truth, because it's for our freaking kids and their kids. Yeah. Because right now it's not going down a right path, but I do think that it can change. I think a lot of people are waking up on things, and you're someone that's helped me wake up on it because you're homeschooling and other things that you've talked about. But I just think that getting the facts out there and us having conversations like this is huge. Mm-hmm. And if we don't agree on something, that's okay. Yeah. Like, we can still be friends.
For sure. For sure. Like, where were the days when you could just talk about something and agree to disagree? Yeah. And I think just with I love the MAHA movement. I love that we're talking about it. I think much like what I said about with my mom getting cancer and then passing, that was a weird gift. There was a gift that came from COVID. Right. Like, there was a big critical thinking awakening.
An awakening.
And I think for my journey in health and wellness, and certainly motherhood and how those kind of cross connect, is with my mom right before she died. So that summer, I was an absolutist. And
what does that mean?
So it was an all or nothing for me. So, and that still can be true in some things, but I think the stress of that. So if it was, to your point of, if he's going to have a chocolate cookie at school, it was raising hell for me. Right. And I think there was a part of me deep down that thought by living that way, that was very structured and too disciplined, and orthorexia, like an all or nothing, was a way that I was going to be able to save my mom, realistically.
Right. Wow.
And also for my daughter, and just this whole, like, I've got to be there. I have to be in control of everything.
Right.
And while all of this is going on, and while we have this awakening, which is so great, to just sit and ask questions, do what you can. It was also being flipped for me in that moment in time because of the stress of just trying to get on top of all of that. So for me in this whole journey, and I'm still very diligent on a lot of things, but if we're to go to a birthday party, or, you know, even to a family member's house, and if they have XYZ, I'm like, I want my kids, much like what I was saying earlier, to know the foundations of our family and to have the tools to think critically, to when they are a little bit older and they go to a birthday party, they're like, you know what, that is not serving my brain and my body.
Yeah, that makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
My kids are like literally 5 and 3, and the other one's 1. He has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, he's like, okay.
But really, Chessa will be like, is that good ingredients? Or like, we can't have that. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, good job. You're thinking about that for your own body.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How does it, to your point, how does it make you feel? Because especially as girls growing up in the 90s, it was low fat. And then that's when all of the shit got into our food, majority of it, you know. Before it was certainly there, but it got worse. You see the rise in autism. You see, I mean, I have a severely autistic first cousin. And I believe it was from vaccines and the amount that were given. And so my aunt and uncle are just incredible in advocacy and keeping him healthy, and his siblings. It's just, they're remarkable. But it's just crazy to see that influx of the autism and autoimmunity, to your point.
Yeah.
And so while the world hopefully will be, especially our nation, will be switching over and saying, this is weird. Steak and Shake. I think they did tallow.
Yeah, they're doing beef tallow now. Hopefully it's good beef tallow.
Right.
Apparently there could be bad. I mean,
I know.
It's crazy.
And, and it can be overwhelming.
Exactly.
And for moms, and back to my point, like being millennials or just being a mom in general, raised in 80s, 90s, you know, you've seen your mom go through like the snack wells and all of the 100-calorie packs, and you don't want to create this orthorexia of, oh no, I should be eating this or that. No, we want to teach ourselves and our kids to nourish their bodies.
Exactly.
And to know like that is not going to make me feel good.
Right.
It may taste super good. Like a Dorito is chef's kiss and an Oreo, but I'm not going to feel good after this. And that is something that we are trying to unravel and relearn as moms and teaching our children.
Right.
So I think it's, you know, in my beginning, like I was saying, it was like an all or nothing. And I think at this point, especially now that our kids are a little bit older, that they're getting it, like what you said with Chessa, whenever, and it's not, I don't want to shame anyone that goes here, but whenever we drive by a McDonald's, my kids go, ew, McDonald's. And I'm like, okay, there might be some families that, you know, they do eat that. We just don't eat that. We don't do that. XYZ. But I think it's just important to preface it with, no matter if it's vaccines, if it's food, you know, the church you go to, because there's some of that woke stuff that's getting into churches and just all of this just infiltrating our society today. Social media. Yeah. Like, I think it is like a back to basics of following our intuition and thinking critically. Yes. And you know what? If you're at the birthday party, and even as a mom, like, sure, I'll take a cupcake. Yeah. It's been a minute. Yeah. Like, if you are in, I would say like 80, 90, 20, 10, whatever, you have that balance. No. Then you're going to be okay. You know? Yes. It's okay, baby.
Levi, stop.
I'll hold you. Mama Anna's got you, baby.
He sees that. We still have our reindeer out there. I keep forgetting.
He's like, oh, God, it's back. It's fun.
But
it's fun.
You're so right. And, you know, you don't want to, like, you know, when you tell kids, don't do that, don't do that, don't do it, they're going to want to do it. Right. So, like, you know, I had a hard time at school because Chessa's class, you would bring, like, a person or a family would be, you know, you'd be given a day and you'd bring snacks for everybody. some of the snacks, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like maybe they just don't know, or maybe they can't afford a different thing.
Right.
But there are affordable, healthier options. So I just
Snap
want to get that out there.
You can buy Whole Foods. I think it's the education.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of the education, and then there's a little bit of like a common sense thing. Like,
yes.
an apple's better than an Oreo.
Levi.
Kind of a thing.
Levi, stop.
It's okay.
And then, we were at Costco, and I'm not super potty training John Henry, but he's a little bit open to it. So I'm just going to take advantage of it. And the way we potty trained Chess and Raylan was if you go pee or poop in the potty, then you get an M&M.
Yeah.
And so there was a big thing of M&Ms, and I was like, God, I know they're terrible. And the kids were like, I want it. And I was like, oh, all right. And so we got them.
Yeah.
Well, they were like, can I have a bowl of M&Ms? And I was like, that makes you feel terrible. And Chess, it doesn't affect so much, but Raylan, man, if he eats chocolate or something with red food dye in it, wow, it's really sad. And so I explained that to him. He's 3 years old, but he doesn't care. He wants it. So I give it to him, and I say, if your tummy starts turning, or you start feeling bad, or you start feeling frustrated, that's because of the M&Ms you're eating. And so he ate the M&Ms, and probably like 20 to 30 minutes later has a full mental breakdown over nothing. And I calm him down, and he goes, I don't want to eat M&Ms anymore because they make my tummy hurt. And I'm like, all right, so you had to learn the hard way.
Yes.
But it's just true. And, there's a documentary out there called, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the food dye one.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. To die for or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I need to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
It's very good,
But I think every single parent should watch it. Because what we put into our kids' bodies is so important, and teachers are noticing these things. I have young teachers telling me this. I have my mom who she's retired, but she still subs. Yeah. But she has just talked to me about kids' behaviors. And now, do you know how many kids have different little tics and do different little behavior things? It's heartbreaking. And as a mom who has a kid that has little things like that, I would get so upset and like, oh my God, how do I fix this? How do I help him do this? And you know what? I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what caused this. Maybe it was the vaccinations I gave him. I don't know. But now I'm not going to feel guilty about it and just destroy myself. I'm just going to move forward and put what's best in his body now and try to get the bad stuff out. A couple of different things, like especially the toe walking with him. Yeah. It's bad, and that can be bad. That their Achilles tendon can be shortened because it's not flexing. It's not being lengthened like it's supposed to. And my mom had a child in her class that I don't know if I'm allowed to share that, so I won't share the details. But they had to have surgery on their Achilles tendon because it was so shortened from constantly walking on toes. That's terrible. So I want to avoid that. And at first it was like, get off your toes, get off your toes, get off your toes. And then I'm like, okay, I'm probably destroying his confidence right now. And it's not going to change because it's probably something in his brain. I don't know.
You're trying to help. You're trying to figure it out. And I think every mom and parent that is going through.
I'm so sorry.
Are you kidding? Our dogs are leeches. So I am so used to this and I love it. You want to say something?
Because like I'm in trouble.
You were so sweet. No, any mom or parent that is like, okay, I'm trying to fix this. I'm concerned about it. And we should have trust in our medical and food systems. Like that's the thing. Oh my God. Me and Levi. My bubba.
But anyway, keep saying what you were saying.
No, just the fact that we haven't had the trust, we can't really trust, I feel, in the medical and food systems these days. And you can't deny it.
No,
when you look at what has gone on and really in the past 30, 40 years is kind of incredible. So I'm going to play aside, but if you were to say, no, nothing's going wrong, everything's fine, you're denying that truth to me. You have to question, you should always question. My dad, and love my dad for this, question, trust, but verify.
Right.
And science should be questioned all the time.
Yeah.
It is not, end all be all. So yeah, that's how I feel about all of those things.
Right.
Is don't stop questioning.
Yeah.
And trust your gut.
And
no matter what it is.
If you're being silenced for speaking your truth, then there's a problem there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No one is greater than the other. Truly. I don't care what your background is. We need to be able to have these conversations and speak openly and freely about them. Because if we don't, we're not getting to root cause of anything. And then truth will not be found.
Yeah. And things will just get worse and worse. And we're setting our kids up for failure in future generations. And
exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot. And there's a lot of things that we can talk about with that. I do have to go.
Yeah.
Because I got to go get those kids. And John Henry has his play date assessment. And yeah, so we'll see. He's going to be obsessed with school. I would love for you to come back on and talk about homeschooling.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about it. But thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you driving out here and being so vulnerable and talking about this with me. And you're just doing an amazing job. You're an amazing mom. Seriously. And I love talking about all this with you.
I know. We could literally spend 5 hours. We could Joe Rogan it.
Yeah.
Lock it in, sis.
Yeah, we need our own Jamie over here. Levi, are you Jamie? Get the facts out.
Yes. Pull it up, Jamie.
Too funny.
Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
Gosh. Love
so
me
fun.
some Joe Rogan.
I know.
It's so funny how people are like, God, would you hear that from Joe Rogan? It's like, I'm not hearing it from him. I'm hearing the experts he's bringing on, just talking about it, asking questions. His podcast has
different points of view,
changed the world.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? And that,
right.
It's ridiculous.
Independent journalism is the greatest thing that has happened in the past 5 to 10 years.
Did it because we're
so bad.
There's a lot of corruption out there, a lot of corruption, and yeah, I could say a lot of things. Anyway,
me too.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to come back, and I appreciate it, and definitely want to dedicate this to your beautiful mama. She created 2 beautiful daughters and a son. 3 kids, right?
3.
Yeah.
3 of us, with all the hair in the world.
Yes. Hey, that's a good thing.
It is. Yeah, it is. I also feel like Hagrid from day to day. So we'll work with it. We'll work with it. It'll be good.
Thank you. And drive safe.
Thank you.
Local Mortgage is a proud supporter of Camilla Proctor and her Camilla the Momzilla podcast. Local Mortgage is a family-owned mortgage company in Memphis, Tennessee. Our family knows how important a home can be to your family. When it comes time to buying your first home, or if your family size has outgrown your current house, we have the experience and expertise to help you. On top of 50 years of combined experience, we also offer rates that are consistently below the national average, helping to make your new home more affordable. You can see current rates, calculate payments, and learn all about home buying at localmortgage.com. When you are ready, we are here. Local Mortgage is an equal opportunity lender licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, and Colorado. NMLS number 1855068.
Are you thinking about buying or selling a home? Let's make it happen. My name's Emma, and I'm a real estate agent here in Memphis with Coldwell Banker Collins Murray, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way and would love to connect with you. Give our office a call at 901-259-8550, or you can reach out to me directly at 901-592-8149. I'd love to help you get started and help with all your real estate needs. Talk soon.